When COVID hit, there were a number of businesses that were hit as well. However, there are some shrewd business people that saw opportunity within this season and actually began enterprises or businesses. This entrepreneur is among those. We featured him in that season around the COVID pandemic lockdown. Today, we paid a visit again to find out how he's faring.
When the lockdown started, if you remember, we were actually on this show where we shared what we were doing. We were using our truck, then we had one truck. At that time, it is only trucks that were allowed to move. So we started by using our truck to ferry food from the farm. Initially, it was for charity purposes, where we gave some of the foods to our neighbors that were in need, church members as well, and other members in the community. But in the course of doing that, we discovered that actually it could be grown as a business. We therefore embarked on developing a food delivery business, whereby we transport food, that is fresh farm food, and have it packaged and delivered. We've since grown in that business by having different food packages that serve our clients' needs. So in summary, we've made shopping of food very convenient for you. We save you the hassle of having to bustle and hustle in the market. We save you from buying food that is laid on the ground. We save you from buying food that has been transported in ways that expose the food to contaminants. The client of today is a client that is changing in terms of the need to have their needs customized, as well as the possibility to shop at their convenience. We've responded to that by launching special food gift vouchers, whereby you can buy a voucher. The beneficiaries may include employees, it may include clients, it may even be for charity. We've had clients that buy food for charity. The food voucher makes the business different in the sense that it responds to the need to be flexible in terms of what foods a client wants, but also in terms of the timing when the food should be delivered. So these food vouchers that are aligned to the different food packages that we have will enable a beneficiary to choose when to order and also to choose the types of foods that should come with their delivery.
We have tried so much to make sure that we brand ourselves as staff, as well as the vehicles that we use, and everything that is Amicus must speak Amicus. The vehicles that we have are branded right from the farm up to the time that the food is delivered to the client. For the packages that we do, for the food baskets that we do, we accompany them with complimentary cards depending on the purpose of the basket that we have given out. We have stickers that we also stick on the baskets that we deliver to clients. As staff, we also, because when a staff member goes out to the field, we need them to speak to the client as part of Amicus. So definitely they are labeled with identity cards and name tags. The name tags also help us to easily identify, especially when a staff goes to the client, they can give us feedback depending on how the staff member has behaved. So it is easy to identify a staff member when they go out to the field. Generally, I think branding is one of the most important aspects of any running business, because branding gives identity to a business. For anyone doing business, be it here in Uganda or out of this country, it is important that you retain clients. It is important that our business looks out for customer retention. It is not easy, but as directors, we have to try and see that we retain clients as we add on to them. Some of the ways that we have ensured that we retain our clients are: one, we gift clients. We sometimes when we are in a big harvest season, and for example there is lots of fruit at the farm, we put extras for the clients as a way of retaining them. Then we also gift them during important days of their lives, like birthdays, or if a client has lost a loved one, we always come through and retain, and gift them. The other aspect of business management is staff motivation, as well as staff retention as well. We make each and everybody feel family. We are a big family here. Sometimes we gift staff on their birthdays as well, as a way of making them feel at home and feel part of the bigger company. We have an award system where we award employees at a quota system per quarter. Every time we have 4 quarters in the year, so every end of quarter we award employees who have excelled in what they have done.
The number of companies that invest a lot of resources and time to hire the best human resource. However, it's not a given that the best human resource will give you the best in terms of productivity. There are certain values that you have to respect. Take a look.
We all know that Uganda has one of the youngest and dynamic populations in East Africa. So you have the biggest labor force being between the age of 24 to maybe 35 or 36, and then of course going upwards. The skill set of most graduates in this country is a bit lacking. It's been proved, of course, when you get to workplaces and you have maybe graduate trainee mentorship programs, you enroll them on, or you recruit fresh graduates. Once they get on board, then now the academic stops at the doorstep. Now we need skills that will sustain them, support them in getting the best out of them in workplaces. And it's been proved that the skill set is quite lacking. Skill set here, we're talking about soft skills. Skills like communication skills, we're talking about time management, we're talking about general attitude towards work, we're talking about relating at work, we are talking about respecting authority, not being subordinative to authority. So some of these skills, schools don't teach them, but when the employees or graduate interns enter organizations, you find HR is geared at supporting these young graduates to grow in these, or be nurtured in these specific skills. It's an area that most of us, especially HR consultants, that we are trying to tap into, which is more of graduate mentorship programs that support these people, to these young employees or people who are not, they might not necessarily be young, but they are unskilled or they are semi-skilled. We call them semi-skilled and unskilled workers. Now these are workers like masons, carpenters, painters, or they have the skill, but that skill is not necessarily looked at as graduate, yet they actually go through technical institutions. So most of them have a bit of a complex, because they feel, okay, I'm just a carpenter, I'm just a painter, I'm just a mason, I don't necessarily possess the skills. So we have skilling programs that support them in getting the best out of them, to appreciate that, it's not being a carpenter, there's nothing wrong with being a carpenter. There's nothing absolutely wrong with being a welder. These are skills that are hands-on, but they will also require a bit of soft skills to be recognized. So when you get to a site, for instance, you're working, you're on a site, there's painters, there's welders, and there are masons. How do the two get to feed? Because we know that whatever you do feeds into the next step of the project. So yes, we have a couple of trainings that support the semi-skilled and unskilled labor force.
We live in tough times today, but even tougher for youngsters. This is because of the many influences around them, and these have been fueled, among others, by the many digital platforms where these guys can pick much information. Now, this is stretched to some of their peers, their friends, that can actually inject some bad habits in their lives. But most importantly, it becomes worse when they have money. Now, imagine an application that can give control to a parent to determine what that youngster is spending on. Take a look.
Also started its story spans way back while we were still in school. It's a concept that was developed way back then, and its main thing was focused on solving a couple of problems that students face, one of which was theft of pocket money, and then having illegal substances which are purchased by the pocket money that these students held. So the whole dream was how best can we have these students transact seamlessly without actually having cash, and then how also do we control these other vices within the schools. So what we did is we came up with a couple of products which we tried out in different schools, and then we zeroed down to what we call the Omni student card. So right now we are mostly known for the Omni student card, besides all other products that we are having. If I could show you a sample of our card, it's just right here. This is one of our cards. So what we do is we digitize pocket money for these students, and then the whole goal, the bigger goal, is basically to make a whole campus fully cashless. So our relevance is mainly derived from what we are offering, and then, so just to give you like a brief insight of how beneficial our product is and has been. One, it brings about financial inclusion of the students. Every student can now literally use a card to just transact. Think of it like a visa or anything of the kind, so they don't have to hold cash. So that's like financial inclusion. Two, theft has been controlled in schools because now students no longer have pocket money held in cash. They only come with a card and then they can swipe, of which this card is fully protected, so there is no theft happening. Then three, we've managed to control a couple of illegal and illicit habits that have been happening in schools, like having drugs in schools, sneaking out because someone won't sneak out since they don't have money to spend while they are there. Then of course the parents can easily monitor the students' nutrition and know what exactly they are consuming.
We are just a tech company. So we have cards that use NFC to do a transaction where we need to scan. We provide students with cards. The card looks like this. Or with wristbands. The wristband looks like this, where you only tap on the device if you are going to purchase. So the products are loaded into your server. So a student that just has one item, say I want this, a chapati or whatever kind of eats, and the end results is just tapping on the devices. So when you tap on the device like this, the transaction is done, and you get a printout from any point of sale, and you are served immediately. Two, even the parents can still top up money for you as a student using mobile money, and also still we are doing all the platforms where top-ups can be done, either using banks or whatever, so that at any time a student just gets money on the card, because these cards have numbers or student numbers that are personalized to that student. That is how the system works, and you are served on time.
Okay, over time we've, just like I've told you, we've scaled over time. Right now we are in 6 schools, currently fully operational. 5 of them are fully cashless, and then 1 is still hybrid, so they're still using cash. And our cashless solutions, basically trying to compare and see, but we are hopeful that also them they are going to be fully cashless. So we've reached out to and managed to win schools such as Pena, St. Peter's Nalia. We are in Vienna College, fully cashless. We are in Green Hill Academy, which is our latest customer. Then we are also in Viva College and then several other schools that make up the 6 in total. So over time, we've managed to get a number of users from those schools, over 8,000 users currently. Then we've made transaction volumes worth about 500,000 worth of USD, which is, I think, very good within the shortest possible time that we've operated. Of course, this mainly being a tech thing, sometimes people are quite slow at adopting technology things. Some people are sometimes quite skeptical of where is my money going, so we find some challenge in convincing them to get on board at times. But then once we do and show them the transparency in our system, they definitely have to get on board. So that's a good challenge that we found. At some point, we are going to go out of the schools and also be able to book bus trips, unless in case you're going somewhere, just go and swipe. So like the buses will be having our system, you just tap with your card and then be able to take a ride. Then events, actually already piloted events, whereby you just go and tap with your wristband and then you can buy anything from any stall. You can also access different VIP sections in clubs and bars. So we are scaling there. That's the long-term strategy.
With that, we come to the end of this week's edition of Money and Markets. Thank you for being part of the show. We treasure your participation and your audience. I've been your host, Charles Boji. Now, from me and team, we'd like to wish you a very good evening. God bless.